In this presentation, we're going to look at third-party logistics for Microsoft Dynamics NAV created by Match Business Solution. So first we'll have a detailed look of goods inwards, then we'll look at good outwards, stock reconciliation, master data export, and how the system can be set up to handle multiple location, multiple 3PL in an automated way. So we have prepared a purchase order with 2 items to be received, and if we release it and create the warehouse receipt, there is an extra tab, third-party logistic. It has not been sent yet, and we click on send to third-party logistic. Now the document has been created and sent. So NAV has created a file to be transferred to the 3PL with all the information for the receipt. And we keep a record of that information. So that's good coming in, and a request, so it's sent to the 3PL. So now let's say that the goods have been received and the 3PL company send us a file back saying that the confirmation it has been received. So here we are using the uploader, which is a generic tool created by Match Business Solution to import and process any kind of file. So we have imported the file, that's what's in the file, so pretty much the same information, everything is received as expected. We're going to process the file. So the document has been created, and this time it's still good inward, but from the 3PL. So that's the confirmation. So if we go back on the tab, the from 3PL document has been received, and we need to, so that's the document from 3PL. And on the result, we see that the matching is okay, because it really reflects the request we have sent to the 3PL. So now that can be posted. So we're going to click on the post icon. Then the status changes to success. If we go back to the purchase order, now the quantity 40 and 50 have been received, and you can see on the third-party logistic tab that everything has been processed. So that's a detailed presentation, but that could be done much quicker. So let's change the setup in the to create warehouse automatically when we release purchase orders. So, and let's also change the setup on the location to say that we send the request automatically when the warehouse receipt is created. So we have prepared another purchase order. still for two items, a bit different with 50 and 55 quantity, and we just going to release it. And you see the document has been created and sent. So if we go back to the folder, a new file has just been created. Now for the receipt, there is a file, a confirmation file that we have received from the 3PL. It is put in a particular folder. We can import all the file in that folder and process and post at the same time. So these two tasks, to load and to process and post, can be fully automated with a NAV scheduler. So loading file here, we're saying that every day, every minute, the NAV application server, so the batch scheduler, is going to process that. And going back to the purchase order, we can see that it has been received. So for good outwards, it's behave pretty much in the same way. So if we go to a sales order, you can find also the third-party logistic, the send to 3PL, the show 3PL document, so in the same way. And same automatism that can be done by clicking on an icon or just by releasing warehouse shipment, orders, or pick. So for outward and inward goods, you could have also transfer orders that are managed. So here's the two icons, send to 3PL for inbound and outbound goods. You find this information in all the related warehouse documents. So here on the warehouse shipment, the third-party logistic tab lets you know where we are, and the send to third-party logistic icon, this shows 3PL document. Now let's have a look at stock count reconciliation. We can receive a file for the stock on hand, stock in inventory from the 3PL company. Let's go to the third-party logistic menu and go in the upload entries, the uploader, and we import another file. Before we process it, let's look what's in the file. So our 3PL companies tell us we have 500 and 550 from these two products in location blue. So we process the document, we have a look what's in. So this is document from a CPL, but it is a stock count this time. And that populates a physical stock count, and NAV has automatically populated the stock count expected on the location blue. So we have some differences, and these differences are shown in one of the activity stacks for 3PL. So you can see many different stacks to know where we are with the 3PL process. And on the stock count difference, we have 300 difference on the first item and on the second as well. So that needs to be adjusted, and to do so we can post the adjustment. Let's do it on two of them. So now the stock is in line. Our stock is in line with what the 3PL tells us. And to do so, NAV has created an adjustment entry. If we go on the second item, item 1300, we look at the last entry created. So the adjustment entry posted. Now, exporting master data. When we create a new item in NAV or new customer delivery address, we can send that information to the 3PL company. So if we can see there is a folder, a file name, and if we click on export master data, two files have been created, one for the item and one for the delivery addresses. So in the same way, that could be done automatically by the job scheduler, for example, every night. The solution supports multiple locations and multiple third-party logistic companies. If we go to the setup of the location, let's go on the blue warehouse on the third-party logistic tab. That's our code for the blue location, and it relates to one 3PL company. And if we go on the white warehouse, another code, but it's still for the location, but it still relates to the same 3PL company. And we could have different 3PL companies, each having their own definition of the files, because usually they don't use the same format for importing and exporting data. So that's part of the setup. And if we see how NAV handles that, so each time we're going to create and receive a from 3PL or to 3PL for goods coming in or out, so that's a generic thing. And to populate this data, we can adapt and use different format depending on the 3PL company. So for example, this 3PL company use a particular definition of a file, and we can create easily new ones, and it goes after in the same, exactly the same logic.